So a few weeks ago, we had the second Pokemon Presents, which happened on July 22nd, and it gave us some more news on Pokemon Legends ZA, but also an update on Pokemon Champions. Now, Pokemon Champions, in case some of you don't know, it is essentially going to be a new battle simulator type of game, similar to Pokemon Battle Revolution and Pokemon Stadium, where it's mainly just about having really heated Pokemon battles, but a lot of people are thinking that this is probably also going to be the direction that the entire Pokemon competitive scene and VGC is going to be moving towards, as that way it can allow for the main generation games to be more kind of creative and not have to worry that much about the VGC, as that's all now going to be handled on a different game. Now, we had a lot of questions about Pokemon Champions and what things you're going to be able to do inside of the game, and to be honest, we still have a lot of questions that are still unanswered, but that Pokemon Presents did give us some more information and a look at some of the features of this game, and it made a lot of people very excited because it's actually looking to be exactly what people have been asking for, in the sense of a Pokemon game where you can just straight up customize the stats of your Pokemon. There's sliders to like move your stats up and down and customize them how you want. You can change the moves for your Pokemon, the abilities, the natures. It is basically the fully customized game that people have been asking for. And of course, while there was a lot of excitement as everybody was watching this inside of the Pokemon Presents, there was still some skepticism too, because we didn't really know exactly how all of this worked. Is there going to be a limit to how many you can customize? Is it going to be done in kind of a scummy way? Like, we still didn't know the exact breakdown of how all of that is going to be, and it wasn't actually until after this Pokemon Presents ended and you look on the official Pokemon Champions website itself that there's actually one sentence that, if you read that sentence, it literally saves the entire state of Pokemon Champions, and that's what makes me very excited and really looking forward to this game, and that's why I wanted to make an entire video just talking about Pokemon Champions, and so that's what we're going to do right now. Now, if you look closely at the footage where they show you all of the things that you can customize for your Pokemon, you can see here that you can change the stat points for your Pokemon and bring them up and down with the sliders here. You can customize the movesets for your Pokemon and teach them different attacks. You can even change like the nature for your Pokemon as well as the ability. And on all of these screens where you're changing stuff and customizing your Pokemon, if you look in the top right corner, you can see like there's like this V icon with a number next to it. And you can also see on all of these screens where you're changing stuff, it also tells you with that V icon basically how much it's going to cost, implying that this is going to be some type of currency that you're going to be using to do all of these changes on your Pokemon. It also seems like that this V currency is going to be important in how you get Pokemon, as they also kind of talked a little bit about this, that you're going to be able to just straight up get Pokemon in Pokemon Champions by recruiting them. And you can see here on the screen where you've got like some Pokemon to choose from, you can do a trial recruitment where you basically add the Pokemon into your party for a week, but you can also spend 1,000 of this V currency to then have the Pokemon forever. Now, this V currency, we later found out on the website, is known as victory points, and this is essentially what all of Pokemon Champions is going to revolve around, as if you want to get new Pokemon, it's going to cost VP. If you want to be able to customize things on your Pokemon, like the stats and stuff, that's all going to cost VP. So then, of course, the big question now becomes, how do you get VP? And this was the big thing that a lot of people were skeptical about and a little bit worried, because it's possible that they could have ruined this entire game before launch by just messing up exactly how to get VP and how all of that works, because there was a decent chance that a lot of people were thinking that they might have gone for kind of like the Pokemon Unite or free-to-play gacha game type of model, where essentially the game itself is free, but to get like all of these points to be able to do a lot of the main stuff inside of the game, that's all going to be baked with microtransactions. And I'm going to be completely honest with you guys and just tell you how it is. If Pokemon Champions turned out to be a thing where the main way to get VP inside of this entire game was to have these things appear, where it would have been like, hey, do you want this much VP? That's going to be $10. If you want this much VP, it's going to be $20. This much is $40. And then if you want a lot of VP, it's going to be $100. This would have ruined the game immediately. Like day one, this game would have been dead on arrival. I would have lost all interest immediately if this is the model that they decided to choose, but thankfully, that's not what they decided. And here is where the title of the video comes into play, because if we look on the official Pokemon Champions website and scroll all the way to the bottom, we can see right here what sentence basically saved the entire game, as it says right here, VP cannot be directly purchased, so keep battling and gaining VP to power up your team even more. And just above it, it says victory points or VP can be gained from rank battles and other places in Pokemon Champions. You'll need VP to recruit and train Pokemon. And so there it is. When I read this for the first time, I had the biggest sigh of relief because this one sentence really just saved the entire game. This is what maximized my hype and interest for Pokemon Champions to the fullest, because this essentially confirms now that you're not going to be able to pay to win or be able to pay to have a bunch of VP, and that they're not having a microtransaction system around that main currency, and instead you're just going to have to play the game in order to obtain it. And this could not have been a better outcome, because what is every person who's going to get Pokemon Champions be a fan of? It's going to be having heated competitive Pokemon battles, and if that's all you need to do to then get VP, which is the main currency you need to do all of the other stuff like customizing and getting more Pokemon, that's perfect, because essentially you just need to have one team, or maybe you can even like use somebody else's team if they have like rental codes or QR codes that you can scan to borrow somebody's team and stuff. And if that's the case, and if you can just battle with that for a little bit and just stack up a bunch of VP by battling other trainers and doing ranked battles and stuff, that's perfect, because that's essentially what everyone wants to do with this game. Like, you want to just be able to do ranked battles for hours and hours, and if that's going to get you thousands of VP that you can then use to customize Pokemon further and get new Pokemon, that is literally the perfect gameplay loop. And so yeah, Pokemon Champions just seems like a huge W all around for anybody who likes having competitive Pokemon battles, whether you play them casually or if you do them competitively with VGC or singles. It just seems like they really thought about everything, and they're not trying to just do like a really easy way of making this like super scummy to make a bunch of money, and I'm really happy that that's what they decided. Now, I have seen some critiques about Pokemon Champions as well, and it seems like the main thing that most people are focusing on is that they're a little bit disappointed that the attack animations and the Pokemon models themselves are really similar to how they look in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, and it's essentially just taken from those games and moved into Pokemon Champions, where if you remember like these battle simulator games that we've had in the past, the models that you had in like Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Battle Revolution and the attack animations were always significantly better than what you got in the main series games. And I totally understand, because if you do look at some of the animations for the Pokemon in Pokemon Battle Revolution, like Honchkrow literally like tips its hat when it faints, which I think is so cool. Really nice details like that are all throughout a lot of the Pokemon that are in there. And also a lot of the move animations just look really good too, and really highly detailed. But in this game, it basically just looks like exactly how it does in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And so I can understand why some people might feel a little bit disappointed by this, but I can also understand why they decided to do this in Pokemon Champions, and it really just comes down to that Pokemon games right now, the main series ones, already use 3D models. See, when Pokemon Stadium and Pokemon Battle Revolution came out, the main series games themselves were still using sprites. On the Game Boy or the DS, it didn't matter, the games themselves still had sprites, and we hadn't moved to 3D, which came after Pokemon X and Y on the 3DS. And after that, we've been using 3D models for every single main series Pokemon game, and by Generation 9 now, a lot of these models have gotten better and they've made them pretty nice, so it makes sense to just use those exact same models now for Pokemon Champions, because we have over like 1,000 Pokemon, and I'm sure all of these Pokemon are going to be in Pokemon Champions eventually. And so if they recreated every single Pokemon model from scratch with even higher details and textures specifically for Pokemon Champions, it just seems like such a huge waste of time, resources, and money, because Pokemon Champions itself is also not going to be like a huge seller in terms of popularity, because it is just going to be about competitive Pokemon battles, which is just a section of the entire Pokemon fan base, and not every single person is going to care about that, and if they don't, then they're not going to get this game to begin with. So doing all of that extra work, and especially for all of the attacks and everything too, it just really seems like a waste, which is why they decided to just bring all of the stuff that they already have into Pokemon Champions. And at the end of the day, I'm playing this game for the battles themselves, and being able to use like Mega Evolution and Terastallizing and Dynamax and Z moves and all of that, that's going to be the cool stuff. And having like heated competitive battles, I'm not playing for the Pokemon models themselves or the move animations or anything like that, so I'm really just looking forward to the game and the battles, and that's really kind of where all of my excitement is for. But yeah, from all of this now, I'm pretty sure that Pokemon Champions is going to be a paid title, as it's not going to be relying on microtransactions, so I'm not expecting this game to be free to play. That would honestly really surprise me, and if that's the case, I don't know how they would expect to make money off of it, and they still do need to make money somehow because there is obviously effort that went into this game, and so I think it is just going to be like a straight up one-time purchase. You buy the game once, you download it from the eShop, and then you have the game forever, and you're just going to need like Switch Online to be able to do online battles, but all of the other stuff inside of the game itself with like the customizing and everything, that's just going to come from playing the game and doing battles yourself, which is definitely the best outcome and the best thing that they could have done. And yeah, I don't really expect any more news to come out for Pokemon Champions until Pokemon Day next year, which is going to be in February of 2026, so I'm sure that's when we're going to get even more details about the game, probably like an actual release date, and maybe even like the pricing for exactly how much it's going to cost. I do wonder if they're going to really charge this full price at $60 or $70, or because it's just going to be like a battle focused game that they're going to make it like $40 or a little bit cheaper instead. That will be kind of interesting to see. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed the video, definitely be sure to click that like button and also subscribe to the channel as well. I'm definitely gonna have some more videos talking about Pokemon, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on that. Comment down below and let me know what you think about all of this. Are you excited for Pokemon Champions? Did all of this stuff make you very happy too with how they're handling the VP currency and all of that? Definitely be sure to comment down below and let me know. But if you don't have anything to say about it, just comment your favorite emoji down below for some engagement. I would really appreciate it. Go follow me on Twitter at @Aero so you can be featured in videos, and also join my Discord server as well. We've got a bunch of people in there who are always talking about Pokemon and Smash Bros and Nintendo, so definitely be sure to join that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you so much for watching.